guys, I am Crystal Sky, and today we're going to be taking a look at Artist Loft Gouache. This is a really cheap set that I bought at Michael's. It's the Artist Loft Michael's brand. And I have been using Winsor & Newton Designer Gouache in my watercolor painting, so I figured I'd take a look at a set of gouache that I have here today. Let me get my water and everything. So we got a little bit of water here. This is going to be the pan we're using. We're going to be using the ones that are empty or have very little. We're going to be using Winsor & Newton Cotman brushes. And let's get started. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? I'll be comparing the whites and taking a look at all the different colors here. I got my Winsor & Newton Cotman brushes. Let's get started. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to be doing. Here's a vermilion. It's got an interesting amount of colors. I'm not exactly sure where to start, honestly. Let's doodle a little bit here. Got a pen here. Let's just doodle a face. I'm not going to go realistic because you know that's not me. But we'll doodle a face really quick with some blue here. Got a lot of lines in that, but it should be alright. Kind of rounded. We're just going to do basic face forward. Does that sound good with everybody? Guess I'm not going for a realistic type at all. Going for more anime style. Open eyes with barely any eyelid. Yes, please. All right. So we got a basic structure down, right? Let's take a look and see if we can mix a skin tone. I'm a little worried. I'm not exactly sure what colors I should be working with. I've never mixed a skin color where I don't have the exact colors that I've used before. We can use the blue for the shadow later. We don't need the black right now. Let's try, this is Crimson Red. These aren't even open yet. These tubes are not open. So let's pop them with a little top. And we actually get a nice little burst of color there. Let's just add a little bit. I don't want to go crazy. These seem kind of watery. They seem more watery than the white gouache that I have with Winsor & Newton. Alright, let's go, I guess, burnt sienna, right? Oh, these pop when you open them, which is weird. I haven't had these for too long. Oh, that one is really watery. That one just barely has any paint in it. There we go, there's some paint. Get off the... Okay, we got some paint there now. Trying not to get too much. But again, these look very watery. Do you guys see in the palette here? It is way too red. Oh, there we go. Now they're starting to mix. Did add a little bit of water to the brush. Let's test that on the paper. That is way too red. Let me get my rag, which is right behind me. It's my little rag here. It's pretty, isn't it? I like rags in different colors. More burnt sienna then? No, maybe not. I don't know, it's very dark. Not exactly sure where to even start. It's thick though, which is nice. This crimson color, again, is like watering, but it's not actually dropping paint. It's like dropping liquid, and it smells awful. Which is weird. So I squeezed a little bit sharper. Let's see if we can get some paint. There we go. There's some paint in there. Finally. I haven't had these for too long. I've had them for about a month. If gouache doesn't keep for a month, then my other color would have surely gone down the tubes. I'm trying to go for like a little bit darker color than just plain white. Like a white skin tone. But not this dark. I'm going for more tan. No, I'm just not getting it. Seems to come out of the brush nice. It's actually very thick. Now that's way too crimson. Let's give her red hair. I'm not really sure what kind of hair we're gonna do. Usually I have a part in the middle for hairstyles that are that big. Now I've heard with gouache you can just go over things and it's very thick if you don't use that much water. And that seems to be the case so far, at least. And I'm able to paint without adding water, which is nice. That's often a problem I have with watercolors, is sometimes I want the pigment to come out a little bit thicker. This seems to be working. It's covering up the blue lines. It feels very thick on the paper. Not really happy with this hairstyle. It's alright. I'm just testing. Don't have to go nuts. I would not have done this particular length. Gotta make this up a little bit. Kind of looks like me in the mornings. Okay. Alright, that's not so bad. Add some water and see if we can get in the back here. Alright, that seems to work. Wonder if extra layers constitute thicker paint. So we'll try that in a bit. Let me just see, that's too much water and it's turned into like watercolor right there. Which is fine. It's fine. Went over the lines a little bit. It's alright. Alright, so I've heard gouache dries quickly, and it seems that in some places it's already dried, but in some places it hasn't. Which is a bit odd, in my opinion. Let's see if we can get a little bit darker color. Adding a little bit more burnt sienna. I want to see if we can get a little bit darker for like shadows. I feel like I've added a little too much paint in this well here. And it is watery. It doesn't seem to be mixing barely at all. It's very sticky to my brush. This looks a little bit more brown. Should probably get a palette knife to do this. It is a little bit darker. It's a little bit more brown. Which was intentional, let's be fair. I'm not exactly sure. There's no real, like, pale peach color in this set. So I'm not exactly sure how I should be doing the skin tone. But we're gonna add some shading. It's still a little bit wet, so I'm not really sure what I'm doing. That's okay, right? We're just trying out these paints for the first time. I love the way this brush does hair. I can do super thin or super thick, it doesn't matter. One of the things I love about this brush. So we're adding a second more brown layer here on the inside of the hair. Let's see if that does anything. Meanwhile, while that's doing, we can see if we can get another color here. Let's try all these different colors and see if we can get a peach. I can mix with white to get a lighter color. Is this something in that? Well, there we go. I can mix with white to get a lighter color. Maybe this orange would be a good color to try and get a skin color. It's just coming out of the woodwork. This paint doesn't want to stay in its tube. Let's mix with... Is there no white in this set? Black, yellow, purple, green, cerulean blue. There is no white in this set. Wow, that's of detriment. I guess we'll be using the Winsor & Newton color, which is a much more expensive gouache. I thought there was a white in this set, yet there is not. So we'll use the white in the Winsor & Newton set to see what we can get here. Yeah, the vermilion was really came out of the pan nicely as opposed, or the tube nicely as opposed to the other colors, and it seems to be working much better. There's no horrid odor or anything like that. Might actually need more white. Maybe we just water it down a little bit. Let's see. Alright, let's see what color that came out. It's a little too pink still. A little too pink still. Add a little bit more white. There we go. That's how you get a skin color. Again, I'm still new to gouache. Mixing watercolors is way different than this. I got a little bit of orange in there. I definitely don't want orange in my white, so we're gonna... There we go. No orange in the white. It's hard for me to get out of tubes. I usually use pans. I'd say almost 100% of the time I use pans. I just like pans better, but there's really no gouache in pans. Not at all. Let's try that. That's much better. Much pinky. Ooh. Slapped that around a little bit. It's very pinky. Very baby pink. But we can use this for highlights, I'd say. Actually, it could be mixed a little bit more. Let's try doing this on the shoulders here. It's way too pink. Way too pink. I don't mind. I don't mind. That's not the color I was going for, so it's kind of a shame. But we're learning, right guys? This pink is actually very transparent. I can actually see the blue lines over here. Whereas the red, I guess because it was darker, I couldn't. Get a little bit water on the brush. There we go. Oops. I'm gonna have to clean this much more than I do with watercolor. Alright, let's try doing something a little crazy. We're just gonna go nuts now. Let's add a little bit of burnt sienna. I'm gonna mix 3 colors this time. A little bit of vermilion. Oh, better not sing too much. Nintendo will copyright me. And then let's add white. Let's see what this does. There we go. Colors are hard to mix. I feel like learning how to use gouache would make me better at, definitely at painting in general and color mixing. So with watercolors, I can just pull a little bit of color and mix as much as I would like. With gouache, it's a little bit harder, especially because of the tubes. I'm trying not to get too much, but trying to get the same or a good enough color balance. Alright. Let's take a look at that. Well, that's a nice dark shadow for the pink skin. Now I've heard that gouache dries lighter than in the pan or when you're mixing, so let's see if that's true. We're gonna add a shadow effect. See what that does. The magic of mixing and learning. I'm alright with this gouache so far. I don't know if I'm doing anything wrong, but I don't hate it. I'm enjoying it. A little bit of red that didn't get mixed in there. Now, this skin color, I gotta be careful that I don't go over the skin. This is a shadow though. I was gonna do the skin first, but that wasn't a color that I mixed. But I'm gonna do, like I said, the shadow first. Light shadow, and see if I can mix it in. So I know the skin colors you can go over. Let's just see if I can do it's very pink. It is very pink, but I'm adding a lot of water so it doesn't completely overtake the shadow. Goodbye, eyebrows. Wow, I added a little too much water, didn't I? Look at that, you can see all the things underneath, or maybe it's just the color. Might just be the color, I'm not sure. I am not sure. I cannot stop from singing Super Mario today. Just cannot. Now, what I've heard people say is good about gouache, I've been watching a whole bunch of gouache videos, is that you can go over and retouch as much as you want. So let's hope that is the case. The skin tone is not looking as pink on the face, which I guess is good. I'm just going to take a dry brush and see if I can mix the colors more. Add them together a bit. Make sure they're all everywhere. It wasn't completely dry, I had a little bit of water on it. Seems to be alright so far. Try and smooth out this edge here. I don't want super strong edges. I don't know, what do you guys think? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, what do you guys think? Not sure at all. Not even close. Alright, let's do... I want to swatch all the colors, really. Maybe not swatch, but like use all the colors. Let's use this in the mixing area, because that's what this is. In the middle here. I'm not quite sure what kind of color I wish to gain. But we'll lay out some colors and see if I can get a good idea of what kind of color I want. No, I'm not going to mix purple and green. I'm not crazy. Okay, maybe a little bit, but... Now, this cerulean blue interests me greatly, so... No, I should probably pop it open first. Whoa! That certainly popped the top. Just keeps coming out. Doesn't want to end. Look at that. It's really in blue and purple. Experimentation. I'm gonna have gouache all over my fingers, aren't I? I sense it. Okay. So let's see what we can make the eyes. I want the eyes to be a pretty color. Let's take a little bit of purple, probably more purple than that, and a little bit of this blue. Well, that's a fairly pretty color. You see that pretty color? It's like an off type of purple. I like it. Alright. Now we can always go back and add white for the highlights. So we'll just go in here and add some color. We'll worry about highlights and stuff later. Oh wow, that was a mess. We'll fix it later too. We'll fix everything later. That eye is too big compared to the other one. Look at that, it's a mess. Alright. Can I pick up color? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like I can. Oh, okay. I'm just spreading it everywhere now. Nope. The answer is no, I'd say. A little bit. I mean, I picked up the color in the main area, but that wasn't what I was trying to do. See if I can pick up color. Oop. Yeah, that picked up, actually. Very surprising. Need to add more skin around these eyes. Definitely. This actually has a little bit of water stain here. Let's add another coat of skin without any water. Seems to be coming out a little bit darker. She looks a bit sunburnt, but that's alright. Why not? Let's just enjoy flowing. Flowing with the flow. The paper is warping a significant amount. And you can still see the sketch marks underneath. But actually, as I put the second coat on, it's fading fairly significantly. Good, good. Actually happy with that. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. I should have done something simpler, like a flower. Let's do a flower now, right? Doing a flower with this type of brush is extremely hard. It's actually not that hard. It just feels hard because it's been a long time since I've drawn a flower. And this is certainly drying faster than what I've got going on up there. I'm trying to go for like a peony type color. Flower, not color, type shape. Peonies around my house are quite oddly shaped. My mother was fairly into botany, so I know a little bit about flowers. Since this is gouache, I should be able to go over that once it dries. But let's take a look at the green here. That mixed a little bit with the red on the paper. Whoop. There we go. Got a little twisty type thing going on. Let's get a little... Can't do fast flicks with this, really. It's an alright green. It's not bad. Now I'm just doodling. You guys are watching me doodle right now. I want to see what this blue looks like by itself. Oh, not bad. Oh, I have the hiccups. I decided that this wouldn't be a long video, but we're already at 20 minutes. This looks awful. I might not even continue. I say as I decide that I want to add more shading to the hair. I like the way the hair came out. I don't like the way everything else came out. It's not unlike me though. La 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 la. I'm gonna put a little piece hanging there in her face. But it seems we can mix the colors fairly well here. I'm gonna try and add a little bit of highlight to this flower that's not dry. It's not dry, but I want to try it. Kind of like a pattern. I don't really know what I'm doing. It's been a really long time since I drew a flower of any type. When I first started learning how to do art, I was like, yeah, let's draw flowers. But now I just don't want to draw any flowers. This needs like a second coat because it's so brushy. Let's see if I can make crimson clouds in this sky. Confirmed, I can. Crimson clouds? That would be scary. Still not dry, so it's kind of picking up the color. Again, I've heard that gouache dries really fast, but this gouache is not drying super fast. Put way too much on the palette though. 200% definitely. And just like that, we've added a hair clip. This is fun. I'm really happy with the fact that it can go over it. Right? So now let's see if I can add some watercolor color, just like I can do with the white. We're gonna add, this brush is still coming up with a little bit of gouache. We're gonna add something to this skin color here. A strong blue, I'd say. Is that a strong blue? Alright. Well, I added this blue and nothing really happened. Is this different to you guys? There's a little streaks of blue in it, a little bit of shadow. Blue would be a great skin shadowing color in my opinion. Clean off the brush completely. Where did I put my spray bottle? I lose things in here fairly quickly because it's a mess. I don't know where I put my spray bottle. I don't want to use this water that's got gouache in it to knock these watercolors around. Oh, there we go. Now it's doing. Oh, that's a pretty color that turned into. Look at that. It's like a very blue. That's pretty. I like that color. And as you can see, we've picked up most of that color. Picked that up almost right away. It's like a skin tone shadow type thing. Actually, let's add this to like right underneath there, like a gray. Oh, went too far up. It's alright. It's way too much water. I find with gouache, you can't add too much water, at least this gouache. So if you add too much gouache, you get a mess. Too much water, you get a mess. Not bad. The eyes are bothering me so much on this character. I can't even. I just want to fix it, but I don't know how. Oh, jeez. Yeah. One of them, again, is bigger than the other. Fun. Nope, that's too much water. I'm still learning. 100%. Well, my recording ended and it didn't tell me when it ended. So, how much doodle did you miss? I mixed it with watercolor and it worked out pretty good. That's the color it came out with. Mixed it with a blue. Wanted to see what it would do. I'm trying to fix this character now. And I'm gonna use the black to like do a face. And I'm a bit scared. Oh God. Did I mention I don't ever do anything with a brush? This is actually still wet. I probably shouldn't. Well, we're doing it. We're doing it. Still wet. Who cares? People who are probably have painted before are probably just like, ah! I get that a lot. Oh, my back is so sore. Okay. So this is actually still wet here, this cloud on top. Some of it's very wet. The paper has warped pretty well. Pretty warpy paint. Which is funny, because people said that they didn't care about the type of paper that you used for this medium, because it would matter, but it seems to have mattered quite a bit in this instance. I'm just gonna make this like a super art journal-y type page, because we still have a lot of paint left. Tried to mix a green here. It did absolutely nothing to the color. But now we have a lot of paint on my brush. Wow. This paintbrush picked up so much paint. Wow. That picked up so much paint. There's still paint on it. It's still going. It will never be free. Alright, so that paintbrush is awful for this. Got it. Check. Let's try a different paintbrush. This is one that I'm not really a fan of for details. Just pick up a little bit of paint here. I'm just gonna add details in this nice purple color. It's actually not bad looking. But again, this paintbrush holds a lot of paint. And it bends very, very quickly. Does this have any paint still left in it? Just trying all my paintbrushes with it. I'm gonna have to clean them out in the sink after this. Right now onto this scratchy one. This one's very scratchy. I want to see what happens when I blend a whole bunch of colors together. Wow, just two colors. I want to see if I get like a dark color. That's definitely a dark color. It's like a black almost. Like a green, a dark green. These two colors made. Which is pretty interesting. And actually, perfect. Doodling is fun. You guys should doodle as often as you can. A lot of people swear by art journaling. And while I don't swear by art journaling, it's actually starting to dry on the palette. Well then. This turned into a dark blue. Guess we're gonna give her some sort of dress, low-hanging dress. It's really, this one really doesn't hold that much paint. We're going back to the original. It's my favorite color, or my favorite size. It flows so much better. But again, a lot of water. It's been sitting in the water for a long time. I'm still waiting for the eyes to dry. It's a pretty color. It's fairly mixed though. It's not mixed all the way. I'm trying to wait until the eyes dry to put a pupil in. But unfortunately it's not drying too quickly. Just put a pupil in now while it's still a little wet. Okay, now let's get a little tiny minuscule amount of white. Ah! I say as all the white falls out in the world. Man, not what I wanted. Not what I wanted. But I mean, story of my life, right? Since this holds very little paint, we'll go with this. Fortunately, this little one is still pumping out blue. Like it's its job. Okay. No more blue. That white looks really nice on the colors. Even though it's wet, it's still working out fairly well. Still going on top just right. Oh, that, did you see that? That bled into that. That bleed there. It's awful. Alright, I don't hate it. There are some spots that need to be fixed. Definitely. But I don't hate it, and I think the gouache, the Artist Loft gouache, is a good place to start. What do you guys think? Alright, I'm going to let these dry, and I'm going to come back later and see if they are still activatable, if you can still activate the gouache after it's dried. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, we're back. Let's see if we can get these paints to reactivate. I didn't add anything to them. You can see the blue cracked. The white actually looks like it's still wet. The black kind of cracked. Pretty much all of them cracked. The red didn't really crack too much. Let's take a look. I got some spray here. We'll just generously wet them. See if we can get some color out of them. Let me switch to a new page here. This is way dry. It's been about 2 days. I wanted to see that I'm at their driest. So these brushes have been soaking for way too long. This blue looks cracked. Very cracked. Let's see if we can get it to activate again. I have the Me homepage song stuck in my head. Up. It actually activated like a watercolor. You guys see that? It's a little rougher than it was originally, I believe. Alright, let's take this white here. Just see. Mixed with a little bit of blue. You can kind of see it. Can you see it on the paper? It's a pretty color. That is a really pretty color. Let's take this skin tone. I generously did the skin tone, so this should... It's way more water. I added too much water to reactivate it. I thought it would be hard to reactivate, but no. Nope, it reactivated very easily. Some people say if you wanna have a gouache pigment or palette, you have to add honey or binder to the colors, right? I'm getting cool gradients going on here. But you have to add binder or honey to the paints when you add them in the pans. But even though these are breaking apart, I'm getting pigment off of them still. Well, that one's very watercolory. These, you pretend that these are watercolors in all honesty. See if we can pick up some of this purple. The purple picked up real nicely, but it's got a lot of water in there. Look how transparent that is. Gouache, when you add a lot of water, is transparent. I learned that when I watched a video. I watched a video before I bought these cheap ones. Dun, dun, dun. Like a gray. Very watercolory. So let's do a test. These actually aren't dry yet. Gouache is supposed to dry really quickly, but my gouache doesn't. That looks a little dry on the top. So let's see if the white can go on top. Still. Opaquely. It might actually be a little bit too wet. Might have to wait a bit. I wish I had a heat gun. I wish I had enough money to go buy a heat gun, but I don't. I'm poor. I'm really surprised at how much they're picking up, honestly. I'm very surprised at how much they're picking up. They're definitely not as opaque in the least. But I might have just added too much water because I was worried about that they wouldn't reactivate at all. Look at how well they're doing. The Winsor & Newton, I know somebody said that the Winsor & Newton just doesn't reactivate, but it's been 2 days and it's pretty opaque. It's more opaque than I thought it would be, actually. Way more opaque than I thought it would be. Look at that. I practically covered up the entire color there. And it's still wet. I'm really surprised at that. Wow. Alright, what color in this? Oh wait, let's go over the black. The black's still a little wet, but let's see if we can get some blue on there. The blue didn't reactivate super well. I mean, it's transparent, but let's see if we can get more in there. I would have liked to have put it in a pan instead of on this mixing tray. Should have done that. I didn't. Ton of pans that could be used. I just needed to pick up more pigment. It's a little transparent. It's not as opaque as I thought it would be. Get a really pretty color there. Alright, let's see. Well, you can't really move them. Let's see if we can mix them like in a pan up here. Like a watercolor, like you'd be able to pick up enough pigment to mix them. Can you guys see the pan? Yeah, you can. Just quickly see if they mix. Maybe add a little bit more water, almost like watercolor needs it. What color should we mix it with? Just mix it with purple. Since they're already kind of mixed there. Alright. Mixed it with purple. You guys see any difference in the color? It's definitely a different color. It didn't mix as well. Definitely didn't mix as well. Oops. And it doesn't smell as weird as it did before. I'm trying to make like a... Yeah, look at that. I mean, they're working. It's been 2 days. It's been 2 good days. And this color is still wet. This white is still wet. Which is amazing. Alrighty guys, that's it for this try. Thank you so much for watching. So the gouache did reactivate. I'm very surprised. I was not expecting it to reactivate. The white I'm very happy with. It reactivated and it was almost wet still. I've been wanting a white gouache to put in some of my watercolor palettes. Aside from the Gansai type of watercolor paint, which is not really watercolor, it's Gansai paint, the whites in all the other watercolor sets are awful. So, hence white gouache. But there's no white gouache in Artist Loft. So, I just have my Winsor & Newton. Alrighty guys, so that's my little first try test and my tiny little review of what I know about gouache. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys later.